Hey everyone, this is Karan Dillon, founder of the Contractors Coach, and welcome to Conquer the Chaos, where we will teach you the principles that hundreds of contractors are using in their business today that allows them to make more money and work less hours. So before we dive right in, let's make sure first that you're in the right place. So are you a general contractor, a plumber, electrician, landscaper, or in a trade and you own your own construction business? And is this true for you? Your business makes money, but it takes up all of your time. And does it feel like that everything depends on you in your business? You are the go-to guy for all the questions your employees have, and they have lots of questions all the time. And if something doesn't go right, you're the guy to always fix it. Essentially, everything depends on you in the business. And then, if you didn't push everybody, things would start to fall through the cracks very quickly. The people in your company don't seem to be very self-motivated, and they constantly wait for you to tell them what to do, even when sometimes a little initiative and common sense will tell them exactly what to do next. And then, do you feel you have a lack of systems in your business? And these systems would make your life a lot easier, but you have no idea where to start to implement them. And then does it feel like that most of the time all you're doing in your business is managing chaos? So if you answered yes to one or more of these, then this is for you. All right, so let's dive right in. So in the world of business, there's only 4 ways of making money. The first way you make money in the world of business is as an E, which stands for employee. The second way you make money in the world of business is as an S, which stands for a self-employed person. Now, a self-employed person can have a small team, so it could be a small business owner. But the key thing here is that the business in this quadrant relies on the efforts of the business owner. If you take the business owner out of the business, this business would not survive for very long. So that's the S quadrant. The third way you make money in the world of business is as a B, which is a business owner. Now, business owners focus on something very different. What they focus on is, number 1, building systems, and number 2, hiring a team of people to run those systems so they don't have to. And finally, the fourth way you make money in the world of business is as an I, which stands for investor. The cash flow quadrants are described in detail in Robert Kiyosaki's book called Cashflow Quadrants. So if you want more details, definitely read that book. Now, if you take a look at these and divide them up into the left side and the right side, which one do you think makes more money? The employees and self-employed, or business owners or investors? Well, most people understand that it's the right side, business owners and investors. Yeah, in fact, 95% of the money is made on the right side by business owners and investors. Yet, 95% of the people live on the left side as employees and self-employed people. Now, if you take a look at these specifically, which one of these 4 do you think makes the most money? Well, most people tend to think it's the investors because some prominent names come to mind. For example, Warren Buffett. But if you think about it, when Warren Buffett invests, does he go out into the market and buy a few shares like you and me? No. What does he do? He buys the entire company, right? So really, what does that make him? It makes him a business owner. So the truth is, the B quadrant, the business owners make more money than all the other 3 quadrants combined. Because if you think about it, after all, where do the investors put their money? Into businesses, right? So the B quadrant makes more money than all 3 quadrants combined. But we also know that most people live on the left side as employees and self-employed people. So the question again is why? The reason is that employees and self-employed people value something far greater than money. What they value is security. Employees like the security of having a steady paycheck. Right? Self-employed people like the security that they can go out, get a job, and then somebody will pay them. People on the right side, however, value something far different. What they value is risk and how they can mitigate that risk so they can create an unfair advantage for themselves in the marketplace. So if you're listening to this, you're probably in the S quadrant, right? You've got a business, it makes some money, but like we said, it takes up all of your time. You feel like you're managing chaos all the time, and you really would like to see how you can get yourself in the B quadrant, where you can build systems and build teams, and you can step back so your business makes more money and gives you more free time. Most people would like this, yet we know that 95% of the people don't make this transition. So the question is why? Why is it that most people do not make this shift? And there is one thing that stops them. So here is the one thing that stops people from moving from the S quadrant to the B quadrant. This is your brain. It's not your brain on drugs or anything, if you remember that commercial. It's just your brain. Now, how much of our brain do we consciously use? Well, most experts agree we use about 10% of our brain consciously, right? So if 10% is the conscious part of our brain, what is the rest of it? Well, if you're thinking unconscious, that's not true, because unconscious is when you have too much to drink on a Saturday night and you pass out, right? That's unconscious. So if 10% is the conscious part of our brain, the rest of this is subconscious, which is 90% of our brain, right? This is the part of our brain that controls our habits, the things that we do without thinking. Now, let me give you an example to make this clear. So we all drive, right? You guys drive a car or a truck. So think about when you're driving your car or your truck on the freeway. How much of the time that you're driving your car or truck are you fully conscious of everything that you need to do to drive the car or your truck? Well, it's probably 10%, right? If that. Yet, you can drive your car, you can find your way to where you want to go, and you can even take phone calls, maybe talk to people on the way, and do all of that safely and get to the other side, right? How's that possible? The only reason is that you've done it so many times, you can do it without thinking, right? You can just do it out of habit. The problem is that this is how most people live their lives, just out of habit, without thinking, right? You get up in the morning, you drink your coffee, you take a shower, you go to work, you go to the job site, you talk to people, come back, maybe do some paperwork, have some dinner, watch some TV, maybe read a book, go to bed, you go to sleep, then you get up the next morning. What happens? The same thing, right? So when you keep doing the same thing, you start to get a certain set of results. Then some people get frustrated. They're like, well, I don't like my results. I want to change something. Then they try to use the conscious part of their brain, like the 10% that they have, to try to change the results that they have and try to lead a better life. Then something else gets in the way. And that is something that we call the little voice. If you're wondering what that little voice is, that's the one I'm talking about, the one that just asked you the question. This is the little voice that tells you a lot of stuff like, money's hard to make. You're never going to be successful because you're too old or you're too young. You didn't go to the right school, or you're not smart enough, or, whatever it is that the little voice comes up with. This is the voice that stops you from taking the risks that you need to be taking. Because if you do not go and actively manage this voice, like actively manage this little voice in your mind, it will become self-sabotaging. It will not allow you to take the risks you need to take, not allow you to do the things that you need to do, so you can start to create the type of business and the type of life that you want. The concept of the little voice comes from a book called Little Voice Mastery by Blair Singer. And it's a great book, and anybody looking to grow a business should definitely read it. So let's take this one step further. In our experience, most people in their business and their personal lives are unwilling to take full and complete responsibility for their results. Because we've been talking about managing your mindset, right? Managing the little voice, managing your habits is essentially managing your mindset. And when we're in business to make money. So if I asked you this question, what is your current mindset around money? What would you say? Well, most people don't even know how to answer that question. But one thing that we know very clearly is that our mindset creates our results in business. So if you want to know what your current mindset is around money, all you have to do is look at your tax return and take a look at the number at the bottom. Now, for some reason, that's a bitter pill to swallow because that number doesn't look that great. However, it's not good or bad. It just is, right? That number represents your mindset around money. However, most people prefer to live in a state of denial, right? You ask them, hey, how's your business doing? They're like, well, it's great. Things are good. But then you look behind the scenes and things are not that great, right? Things are not working well. Things are in chaos for most businesses. However, how long can you stay in denial and expect things to get better? Not very long, right? Because things just tend to get worse and worse. Then what people do is they move to the next step, which is they start to lay blame. Well, the reason I'm in chaos is because I don't have good employees, or I can't hire the right people, or, my clients are horrible. They don't pay me on time. They keep too much of money back, or on and on and on, right? People engaging in blaming everyone and anyone except who? Themselves, right? Taking any responsibility themselves for creating the results that they're creating. However, staying here doesn't make anything better. So what they do is then they move to the next stage, which is they start to justify. And this sort of sounds like this. Well, business is hard. It takes hard work to make money. You have to work long hours and on and on and on. There's only so many hours in the day, right? I'm booked too far out. So does justifying make anything better? No, in fact, it makes things worse, right? So when you can't deny, lay blame, or justify, what do people do next? They do the next logical thing, which is they what? Quit. They flat out quit on themselves. Now, does quitting make anything better? No, because these people are just going to go somewhere else and start the process all over again. So what we're here to show you is how you can, what we say, live above the line and take full and complete responsibility for your results, and then start to create the business and the type of life that you want. So what does it mean to take full and complete responsibility for your results in business? What it means is to get very clear about where your business is today, what you do well, what you don't do well, and develop a specific plan on how to take your business to the next level so that you start to create the type of money and the type of life that you want. So next, let's take a look at exactly how you do that. So I'm going to walk you through something called the power model. The power model represents the different stages that a business has to go through in its life. It doesn't matter what type of business, every business goes through these stages. Now, the purpose of being in business is to develop a business that is at a stage of power. Now, what does it mean to have a business at a stage of power? What this means is this is a business that does not have to go looking for clients. Clients actually come looking for this business. Now think of some examples of this. Like, what's a business in a position of power? I mean, we all know of Apple, right? There's a big business. When it puts out a phone, people just line up around the block to get their phone. However, you don't have to be a big business like Apple to be in a position of power. We all know, let's say, a pizza place or a bakery or a cupcake shop. And if people want the product that they're selling, everybody says, hey, that's where you've got to go, right? We've got a sushi place here, as well as an ice cream shop downtown. Or I don't know what they put in their ice cream, but come rain or shine, there's always a line of teenagers out the door. So my point is that in any space, you can develop a business that's in a position of power. However, when we start a business, do we start at a position of power? Obviously not, right? Let's say you and me started a business. Our business would be at a stage what we call invisible. Nobody knows us yet. Our job is to go out there and get some people to try what we have to offer and see if they like it. And so the strategy at this level is to serve first, which is go out there, get some clients, get some people to try your service. And if you're really good, the word is going to start to spread, right? You'll get referrals, more and more people will start to talk about you, and business will start to come in. And that's very true for most contractors. You know, most contractors that we work with are very good at their profession. They take pride in the quality of their work. They do good work. And then word does spread and more business starts to come in. And when that happens, they get rewarded by getting moved up to the next level. And the next stage is a stage called chaos. Now, how many of you feel like you're in chaos, right? We all know people who have businesses in chaos. And here's kind of what that looks like. In chaos, this is what the revenue is. You know, 1 month it's up, the next month it's down. Then you go chase some more work, then you get more revenue. Now you got to go fulfill the work, then the revenue is down. Then it's up again. Then you're like, why did I even open my doors for business? It's up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, is this a really fun way to run a company? Obviously not, right? It's very exhausting. Yet the truth is that 85% of businesses will never get past chaos. They will just stay stuck in chaos, and when they get tired, they basically back off. They're like, I can't handle employees. I'm just going to go back to 2 people. Then they go back to being like invisible again, okay? So the question is why? When this stage is so awful, why do people stay stuck here? And the reason is that they don't know what they need to do to get out of chaos. So next, let's talk about what are the 3 things you have to do to get out of chaos. A couple of these we've talked about already. Number 1, you've got to invest in building systems. Number 2, you have to hire a team of people that runs those systems. Because if you are doing everything and you're out of time, there's nothing else you can do. And number 3, you have to be willing to spend the money to build the above 2. And this is where the little voice starts to freak out, right? I don't have any money. My customers don't give any money, or the bank won't lend me any money, right? All of those are simply self-sabotaging behavior. So you have to build systems, you have to hire a team, and you have to start investing money in building these. Because if you do this right, then you get rewarded by moving up to the next level. And the next level or next stage is called stability, right? The word is just nice. At this stage, you know, things are still up and down. It's not all perfect, but at least things are trending in the right direction. You're making some money. The most important thing you have to do at this stage is ask yourself a question. And the question is why? Why am I making money at this stage when I was not making any money down there at chaos? And the important thing to understand is who gets to answer this question. Most people think it's themselves, the owners, or the employees. And that's not true. The people that get to answer this question are the people that are giving you the money, your customers. They get to tell you what is it that you're doing that they like and what is it that you do that you don't like. So at this stage, it's very important to do what we call a lot of testing and measuring. What's working and what's not working. And once you find out what's working, what should you do? Lots of it. Do lots and lots of just that and stop doing everything else. Okay? Because if you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to move up to the next stage. And the next stage is a stage we call abundance. This is where you have revenues that really start to grow exponentially. And you have an abundance of time, of money, and of energy. And by the way, this is where the IRS will get very interested in you, right? But down there, they don't give a crap. So, in abundance really is when you start to develop the business at a stage where you have the ability to do a lot more with it. So for example, you can create more divisions, you can add more services, you can even start multiplying your business into multiple locations. And if you do that effectively, very quickly, you develop a business that is at a stage of power, where you become the go-to person. And if people talk about a service that's needed in your space, you are the company that comes to mind. Does that make sense? All right. So what should you do next? So the next step for you is to understand where you are in this process. You can do that by taking what we call the power model assessment. The power model goes over 20 specific questions to assess where your business is in 3 specific areas. In the areas of time, right? How are you investing your time and what you can do to free up a lot more of your time. In the space of team, how you can get your employees to be far more effective than they are today. And then finally, money. What do you need to do to develop a business that grows, makes money, and is highly profitable? So with the assessment, it will help you understand exactly where you are on the power model scale. And then you'll have a clear idea on what strategies you need to move your business to the next level. So what you can do is go to the contractorscoach.com and take the free power model assessment and then see how you do. All right. Good luck.